question, because if we go into the mid game even, Origen has shown to be the better mid game team.
And right now Origen is just gonna ban the same. Sivir, Kalista, Thresh. No reason to change, no reason to give a first pick over to H2K, a team who uses Sivir so effectively. So far, same bans, no adaptation on either side. Obviously, Origen doesn't have to change anything. They've been doing just fine.
Last two bans from game one was Elise, then Thresh. We will see an adaptation from H2K.
Yeah.
Don't want to run the risk of another Lulu performance from XPeke or Soaz, and it's taken off the table.
Amazing what's doing just fine on junglers that are not Elise. So worst case scenario for H2K, he does well on Elise, but then he's still doing well. So good thing shutting down at Lulu. Maybe a first pick Shen to at least force Soaz on a different champion in this series. See if he can cook up something. Probably can. Soaz has incredible deep champion pools usually in playoffs. A couple of wonky champs in there too, but he always finds something.
Yeah, Soaz, neither of these top laners have necessarily been responsible for carrying this series. It feels like it's been more about the AD role in terms of finishing it. But we have seen Soaz playing from behind, as he's the one that has suffered in early. And there's that Shen takeaway, as you thought about, Krepo.
Still a flex pick for H2K, but yeah, Soaz really been having a fantastic performance in this series here. Even when being put behind, he makes the best out of it. So annoying in the late game team fights. Elise locked in. Okay, let's see what Amazing can do. This is again why I prefer in a best out of 5 situation, if you have a pick like Elise and you're not 100% sure if Origen will use it and how they want to use it, you leave it open for game 1. You see what happens, and then you adapt up and say, okay, he was 20-0. I mean, that guy destroyed the game on Elise. We ban it from now on, instead of banning it from the start, and then risk you have to adapt later, and now give it over, and you don't really know what Amazing is going to offer.
One quick thoughts as well. Odoamne could also pick a different champion up top. KaSing has played that Shen support in the past, so there is a little element of flex in there.
I wouldn't mind to see Hjarnan come in for H2K and they start running protect the AD carry comps. They are so good at playing around Hjarnan. At the same time, when you face Elise, you know there's no hard engage on a jungle position, so that moves it over to other roles. Alistar is there, but a Hjarnan composition where you protect the AD carry can become very difficult for Origen then to start engaging on. Instead though, we're going back to game 1 basically.
Yeah, loulex does not want to sacrifice too much of his early jungle, so he picks another aggressive jungler. A couple that are left are, for example, Nidalee that you could play. He goes for the Lee Sin. It's all about who finds whoever first in the jungle. If Lee Sin does get the engage on Elise, maybe he can do something. If Elise gets the jump on Lee Sin, he's gonna go down immediately. He has to run away. Has almost no return damage. Incredibly hard to land that Q amongst the Spiderlings too. But so far, whenever we've seen Elise in Europe, junglers have failed to really achieve anything in the first 15 minutes. And that's where she shines. That's where you really have to use that, you know, leveled up Cocoon right now. On rank 1, it has an incredibly long CC duration. Soaz is thinking very hard.
Looks a little uncomfortable, but doesn't really need to be. 2-0 up. Even if H2K decide to flex a carry up top, the Olaf did not work for Odoamne in game 1. Poor decision making and poor engages. Origen, and we'll go to a comfort pick for XPeke once again on Ahri. And it will be the Kog'Maw for Niels as well.
Not sure if I like Kog'Maw with what the rest of the composition is building towards from Origen. You have like this aggressive jungler that likes making picks, you have this mid laner that likes making picks, and then you have this low mobility AD carry that kind of wants to take a very slow approach to the game. Yeah, sure, he is your late game insurance, but why not go all out on that strategy, pick something more aggressive? Say you run a Tristana here that can really value more of these picks, obviously with the reset, gives you more mid-game power in this lineup from H2K. You can already tell, if you beat it in the mid-game, you've won the game. Yeah,
and also just to go back to Tristana pick here, that's an AD carry who can handle herself. Yeah. You can let her farm on her own, you can have your support start roaming with the Elise pick, and that's how you can start making plays in the mid-game. Instead though, we might see Shen go down to the support role, and then we get a Fizz up top for Odoamne, and you start seeing if H2K can snowball him. In the summer split, we haven't seen him being like the massive carry too often compared to the spring split. Instead, it's going to be Fizz mid. So AP Fizz coming in for Ryu to try and beat out XPeke now in this TP Ahri in the mid lane.
Played it twice in summer, undefeated, 13-1-9 with Ryu on that champion. There is the Moakai that we were talking about earlier today. And Origen, how do they respond with the damage from mid and the tank up top?
Well, they obviously respond by picking their top laner. xPeke took the bullet for his team and said, okay, I will sacrifice my counter pick in the mid lane. With Ahri, I'm confident on this champion in any matchup. Therefore, Soaz gets his counter pick. He has to make this work, though. This has to pay off because he has full information on what H2K's lineup is, and it's very clear what their goal in the game will be.
And it's such a scary lineup for H2K. They can snowball so fast against you. When you have that Shen support, you always got to be so careful in the early fights because he can join in so easily. Corki is one of the best AD carries with him because he can sit on his own after level 6 and just sit and farm. So Shen is free to go to other lanes. Origen is saying we don't want to try and match what split push is going to happen with the Fizz going one lane and on the AP scaling and then the Shen being able to join in. So we're going to look more pure team fight with our top lane pick at least.
Now with this Rumble locked in, if a lane swap happens and Origen take the same approach, I want to see if H2K have learned from it. Especially in the phase where Soaz goes to pick up that wave again in a different lane than usual. He doesn't get the bounce wave going towards him. Rumble, when punished early, can fall behind very quickly and get snowballed upon. So we'll need to see amazing help Soaz out because the 2v2 damage potential from Rumble and Elise is incredibly high.
And now we also need to see Pek. You can already see on your screen changing away from teleport because this mid lane matchup, when two assassins goes against each other, one early kill can snowball it completely in one favor. So you need early pressure in the lane. Also probably expecting to see H2K put focus on Ryu. You have the Lee Sin for the early game. You have the Shen support. There are enough tools to make sure Ryu has a fantastic early game. Then you put him in the side lane later. And Fizz, his scaling one-on-one is stupid. Like, it is so strong in the late game when it comes to that. You have the Moakai in the other lane. You have the Shen support to back it up. Beautiful setup if it gets rolling from H2K. That's the big if here, if it gets rolling.
Pretty big if, considering some of the mistakes we've seen from H2K in the previous 2 games. For the last potential time today, jump on Twitter and let us know. Will Origen close this out in 3 with the hashtag OG win, or will H2K give us a few more games in their first European semi-final? Hashtag H2K win. The pressure is on, and it's up to H2K to not crack underneath it, with Ryu at the helm.
And this guy right here, KaSing, he's looking for a good performance. Initially lauded as one of the best supports in Europe, but so far in the first 2 games, hasn't quite left his mark. Seemed to be a little confused as well. Flash, depth charge from Nautilus, it just wasn't coming out, like nothing was tying together for H2K, and he was forced in these very weird plays, a couple forced engages, so perhaps he can do better on this Shen.
And let's talk about what happens for H2K if they fall behind early game. Because yeah, it can look awesome if they get this early lead, if they get to 1-3-1, Corki sitting in mid lane, open up the Shen to teleport around. That can work. If you start falling behind, however, your only wave clear is the Corki.
Yep.
It's gonna move to the mid lane. It's gonna be so hard for you to set up split pushes in time because Origen has such a strong team fight and a lot of catch potential in the Elise and the Ahri together. So if they start just grouping around objectives and you have to react and 5-on-5 them too early, it's gonna be so difficult for H2K.
I just want to keep my eyes on Amazing and Mithy. They've shown how to have great synergy together so far in terms of vision. However, with Cocoon and Pulverize follow-up, they could be an incredibly lethal roam squad.
I really think that's been the highlight of this series. How the lane swap from H2K is the standard European one where you fast push down the tower. So you very quickly return to standard lanes. And because, as you mentioned earlier, they failed to punish Soaz when he returned to the lanes, we got standard lanes very quickly. That's where Mithy and Amazing shine in terms of setting up ganks, setting up vision, compared to what we've seen from loulex and KaSing together. The synergy is just not the same. And that's also why Origen has had a good early game in the last 2 games.
Unlike the last 2 games, gentlemen, it does not look like we will have that lane swap in place. You can see Amazing on his blue buff. Soaz has been in the top for at least this first wave, as Odoamne will clear out one of those camps before backing. So he should make it up to lane in the not too distant future. Standard lanes, and we'll see whether or not Amazing can have an impact. Down bottom.
Now Mithy, he started with Pulverize, which means he doesn't have heal. They're trying to pull the minions here. They're trying to force Hjarnan to attack in the minion wave, so the enemy minions obviously attack him. This forces the lane to push even more. You get the wave quicker in your tower. However, in this matchup, I think it's very obvious that it's going to play out this way. Perhaps it would have been wiser for Mithy to start heal. Just take a defensive approach, just get that Kog'Maw to level 6, and start winning this matchup. Right now, not too much is going to happen. They've yielded the pressure. They'll hit level 2, maybe even level 3 by the time Origen hit level 2 themselves, but not too much action is going on. Standard lanes, however, which means we have to follow Amazing. Is he gonna find an opening?
Look at these junglers. Elise was banned twice. Game 1 and Game 2 against him. Gonna have the top lane for himself. Can look for the Rift Scuttle as well. Top lane is pushing with the Moakai against Soaz. That could be the first gank after red buff for Amazing.
So Amazing goes in the river, puts an early trinket ward just to spot potential Scuttle Crab clear. Right, loulex wants to get that information. Just compare the health bars right now. This is the difference between Elise. Amazing still has potions. loulex is on his last one. He is half HP after smiting that red buff, but Elise is such a sustainable jungler because she just doesn't drop low in the jungler. This makes for very unpredictable gank timings. You can have the standard 330 gank around the mid lane. You can also keep farming and get a slightly later gank somewhere else.
And Amazing gonna secure Rift Scuttler once he spots it. And then he's trying to sneak around the potential ward in the tri-bush you normally place as a top laner, but Odoamne has adapted to it slightly. He knows his mid lane is being pushed in, so there's the opportunity of Amazing taking the river route to top, and therefore places the ward between the two entrances towards his lane.
Very smart play from the top laners, but we continually see this bottom lane being shoved in. Niels down half the CS of Hjarnan, and still under pressure, waiting for those levels, waiting to spawn.
And that is mainly the result of starting Pulverize and hoping for some good RNG on the couple first minions. However, as we go longer in this laning phase, the sustain from Alistar does put that lane back on equal footing, especially once you start pushing out. Once the E connects, obviously Kog'Maw can trade, has to be scared of the taunt, but this should still be a relatively safe lane. Should any side engage, supports will nullify that with counter engage. It's fun to watch, but I'm still waiting for that first gank from Amazing. He's now taking his first base just now, compared to loulex, who had to base a lot earlier, but no early ganks from either jungler.
Tough for him to gank anything with Odoamne starting the camp, get an early ward. That's still the one you see in the river here, covering both ways Amazing could gank. So had no opportunity to go for the top lane. And mid lane, Peke had shoved it in and early back for a second Doran's ring. So just not any openings for Amazing early on. So you just go back to your jungle. You start looking around the map. Second Rift Scott is still alive.
For all the pain that Niels felt earlier, slowly getting a little bit more control in this lane, or at least to push it out. We do see that Ryu's been shoved in the early levels by the range.
Both junglers are coming into the bot lane.
See how this plays out. Taunt does catch Mithy. Sonic Wave maybe blocked by those minions, so loulex unable to connect. The Cocoon does though! Defensive flash from loulex. After both junglers show up, it's a summoner spell down for loulex.
Engage onto the support first of all, in the minion wave as well for H2K. Zero vision of where Amazing could be or information. Gets turned around and loulex early flash gone now. That can be very, very important for the next few minutes. If he gets caught in a 2v2 fight against Amazing, he might just go down due to not having any flash. He needs to dodge that cocoon to remove some of the, or avoid a lot of the damage incoming.
And this again is Amazing, reading the game slightly better, or at least reading what loulex is doing in his jungle and adapting accordingly. Amazing realized he couldn't really gank anywhere, as you explained earlier, therefore he goes for the counter gank on bot lane. Facilitates that lane. Yes, Niels was out of mana, but by Hurricane Barrage costs no mana, so Niels can always threaten with the follow-up poke here. Meanwhile, Soaz surviving in the top lane.
Hjarnan actually caught out. Low on mana. We did see Niels landing the taunt. Here comes Amazing. 3v2 connection with the Cocoon. KaSing's going down. Ignite's burning. Amazing gets first blood. The Spiderlings are tanking the turret, but a TP from Odoamne will get a reply kill at the cost of the Summoner.
Amazing deciding to say, I'm just going to go all in for this one. He knows he's going to die, but at least, as you said, he blows the TP, gets first blood for himself. Lane going to push back down to Niels, and you can see how Niels, in terms of damage, as long as their possible bomb doesn't connect from Hjarnan, there's not really anything he can do. With the long range from Niels is constantly poking away, and then with the Alistar heal coming in as well.
The best thing about this matchup, even if you fall slightly behind, you don't get punished as hard. Because traditionally, if Niels would be down like 10 CS at the 45 mark against a traditional AD carry, he would be facing a BF sword. However, right now he may be just a component behind in the race to Triforce, and he can easily manage that lane. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Soaz got more breathing room because teleport was obviously used by Odoamne, but still that first blood went on Amazing. He now procured a lot more vision for himself, got some couple extra wards. So overall, this is very much so in favor for Origen.
And H2K is swapping Corki to the top side. That opens up for KaSing to start roaming. They need to get level 6 on him as fast as possible or find Amazing.
They have found him. He's been taunted. Sonic Wave connects. The exhaust is out. But that's a two-man knockup. Mithy's in the area. He's responded with his jungler. And Peke with Amazing find their second kill. Soaz teleports in. He burns down KaSing's hopes. And Peke gets the kill credit.
And where was Ryu in that fight? You can't go for that play if you're down teleport unless your mid laner is ready to move first. No communication by H2K. Fantastic reaction there by Origen though, and really good controlled fight. Sloppy fight by H2K.
And Elise damage.
Yeah.
Welcome to Elise. She's now in the game. Amazing. Finally gets her hand on it, and we just see the turnaround. No flash for loulex. Couldn't dodge anything. Again though, Mithy is so good at reading as well what's going on in the map. He had recalled, walked from base to join Amazing to first of all go in and start setting up some deep vision. At the same time, that makes sure in case KaSing is roaming around, he can then counter it. Look at him coming behind Amazing here.
Yeah, but look at the miscommunication. Ryu could have been in this fight a lot quicker. He's now dueling xPeke. You saw him even on the minimap move to the right. That means he queued a creep. Ryu was queuing a creep in the mid lane while his team was fighting for that pick.
It's so tricky though, because Peke, as you saw with his ulti, you can just like straight up ignore him, and at the same time TP coming down from Soaz. I think honestly just H2K, once they engaged in that fight, they had to either react instantly, and then I still think Origen could have responded with Peke coming in maybe a little bit later and then TP.
But that play wasn't set up out of thin air. It was like, hey guys, we just happened to be around this corner baiting. It was very obviously he was going for this, and yeah, Origen as a team just seemed much better prepared for things that they weren't expecting. And especially much better prepared for H2K as a whole, because they've been predicting them across the board. Games 1 and 2, predicting the map moves, predicting the lane swaps. Right now, counter gank from Amazing earlier on loulex too. Just very, very good game reads here by Origen.
And that swap top lane with Hjarnan and KaSing was just to set up that potential gank in the mid lane. So that it opened up the support to roam, gank mid and then return to lane and get you level 6 and you can start using the global. But that has been shut down because Origen has put attention on the bottom lane to keep KaSing down, and of course because they were slightly behind in the start.
I really like this triple pink ward combo from Origen as well. Just one over the wall.
Great job.
From xPeke, doesn't juke the fish though.
Here's Mithy once more.
Emergency cow comes in.
Talking about Mithy in terms of his roam with the combo of Amazing. 2-1-1 on this jungle Elise. Fan vote continues to grow. Origen have got leads in every category except the objectives right now.
And just look at how comfortably Niels is farming alone on the bot lane. He's just fine playing, or letting his team play the map 4 against 5 at the other side. He's slowly farming up. And that's why Origen can shift their vision to the left side of mid lane defensively. If you ward over the wall, it will be spotted with a pink ward. If you ward in Pixel Rush, it will be spotted by a pink ward. If somehow you get into our jungle, we have another pink ward. So there's no opportunities for picks on the left side of the map for H2K, which means they kind of have to rotate downwards and get to Niels, who can just safely farm from such a great distance using that Kog'Maw ultimate.
I like the Cinderhole coming in for Amazing, using the early kills, not saying I'm not going to go Rune Glaive, I'm trying to just focus purely on the early game and get a bit more burst damage. Instead, Cinderhole does offer you way more in the late game. Going to tank the root, obviously the Cocoon is the main thing in terms of CC. But I like this more because your early game is already so strong on the Elise.
Definitely agree. If you're running triple carry, there's no need to make a fourth. Just become somewhat of a tank and CC bot with more Cocoons.
I think it's been started by Origen. There doesn't seem to be any contest from H2K. Gentlemen, a lane that we've not looked at all is the top lane. We do see that loulex is going to show his face. I'm not really hopeful on a tower dive here on Soaz. Let's see if they can play it out. Soaz falling a little bit behind in CS. Teleport not available, whereas Odoamne does have his.
You have to remember Shen is level 6 now. In case a dive does happen, it can be 3v1 from H2K. Origen needs to respect this and either have a cross-map play ready where they're taking a bot lane tower if Shen leaves, or just have the backup cow ready. Mithy is already roamed again. Early Moby boots, ignored the side stone just to keep roaming around the map.
But look at how Ryu, he left the lane twice in mid lane. He was stopped by a pink ward, went back, cleared a wave. Then he left again for potential roam on top, stopped by another pink ward. These pink wards are buying time for Soaz to survive and scale up in that top lane. Right now, teleport timings are about to equal out, so teleport advantage on Odoamne was not used to create a play. So we're even again, and yeah, in this series so far, whenever we've been even, OG have been getting ahead.
And Origen climbed to a 4,500 gold lead in game 2 of this series. Ryu is going to Playful Trickster aggressively. I think the charm missed there. Chum the Waters doesn't. Ryu gone in for the ignite. Flash forward. Urchin strike. Peke gets burned down. And there's an assist for Mithy as he finishes the stand united. Oh, gonna taunt onto Mithy. Unbreakable Will comes out. Two-man knockup. Ryu takes a turret hit. One more auto attack. Playful Trickster's away. Ryu's still alive.
Niels is coming for the flank though, bottom right of your screen.
Let's find out if he can get there.
Sniper.
Sniping. Voidu's flash forward. That does count. Kill credit goes to
Cocoon!
Amazing. Cocoon into knockup. Double kill for the amazing Origen 5-3 up. And they hold the gold lead despite being down in towers.
Slight misplay from Peke in the mid lane, missed the charm after Ryu had already gone aggressive, meant that Ryu could go for the kill. But once again, Origen is roaming around the map so well. They were just topside. Odoamne is dancing around with Soaz a little bit, and then Soaz like
Acting. He got the Alistar. He's like, guys, I disconnected. Nope, did not.
This is pretty exciting.
Where's this going actually?
I think Soaz is about to die.
pretty sure Soaz dies, yeah, in the very end. But didn't even get to see it, poor Soaz.
Odoamne gets cut down. You can see the death count there for Soaz. So 1v1'd by a tree. It's not something you hear every day of the week.
So let's look at around this mid lane. We mentioned how assassin versus assassin can snowball so heavily. Ryu got that one kill for himself, but still been falling behind. Tried to roam out a few times, didn't work, been ganked. Mithy's been there so many times. Mithy so far in this game, just everywhere together with amazing. These two guys together, that synergy is what H2K is lacking so much in these standard lanes.
And we heard Niels talk about it earlier in the video feature, where he was saying he felt he could learn more in a combination with Mithy. We do see, though, some pressure. Ryu's going to connect with Chum the Waters, equalizes out. Soaz is in place, but Amazing gets dropped down. It's Hjarnan that gets the kill credit. Flame Spitter is hurting. But what will this cost H2K? They're setting up a gank up top as well. Taunt doesn't connect, and Peke Spirit rushes away. Blue buff stolen, and a kill for H2K.
H2K slowly getting these picks that they're looking for. See if he can play ping pong here with Ryu.
Gonna find him once. Early on the pulverize. Caster Curse comes into play. Ryu still sticking around. Mithy forced to use the Unbreakable Will. There's no tower to fall back to. We're gonna cut to mid lane as Niels has run out of mana. loulex has execute potential, maybe gone in. He gets it. Will the Acathian surprise kill? No, because loulex dashes out. 6-6 in kills.
Going a little bit solo queue right here for both teams. A lot of small fights happening. Niels was pushing and taking the mid tower. That was good. In the end, though, he goes down to loulex, so still he gets a tower for it. We can call worth on that one, but then Mithy's misplay results in him dying down the bottom side. And H2K responding quite well, getting a lot of kills for themselves.
Yeah. Should have been an extra kill on the side of Origen if that pulverize connected. That again would have given teleport advantage too, as well as Soaz. He's being comfortable right now. He's still okay in this game. He's been playing from a bit from behind every game so far, managed to even it out. He has teleport advantage right now. Very chaotic map, so you could technically get a lot of kills of one good teleport because it's so hard to predict at this point. It's easy to predict when lanes are very stale, and one opening means teleport's gonna come out because the crowd really likes those small minions being killed.
Counts, man. Gives you a lot of gold. H2K, they've clawed back the gold deficit. Origen did claw back the tower deficit. So we're going even as we're approaching 20 minutes. But in game one, it was a similar story, and Origen punished H2K's engages. H2K need to get their head together and on the same page if they want to engage with Moakai, with Fizz, with Elise, and make it work in this game.
And that's why H2K is not going to look to 5-on-5 engage right now.
Dead.
They are looking instead to let Ryu be the split pusher. And Niels...
How did Ryu get in there? There's two wards around that brush. Were at least. Double check that.
I think the wave was pushed up and he just walked in and he just waited for Niels to push the wave back out towards him, and then he just killed him.
Yeah, false sense of security here with all the wards. That's exactly what happened. Ryu just moved in from the side and he hit that bush that was protected by both wards.
Boys, in picks and bans, you both talked about the 1-3-1 potential. Putting Corki mid, letting Moakai and Ryu play the side lanes. That is exactly what is happening for H2K. In a turret will get chunked to below half health, and there's an exposed mid lane turret. Now Peke, he may get dope. He's rooted, he's knocked up, And that's a kill. Stand United is still available if H2K need it, and they're grouped for middle.
Very greedy from xPeke to hold his flash here. He could have flashed out, brought the 3 all the way to his base. Just wasn't expecting the follow-up taunt flash from KaSing. Good read. The knockup from Odoamne's Q was just long enough to connect that taunt. Really, really crucial pick-off.
We really see how strong the 1-3-1 is going to be for H2K, because nothing is going to stop Ryu. That means you always have one lane pushing. The other 2 lanes just got to try and match him in terms of minion waves, and then you start getting these roams between the lanes where instead of you having to like take the long route down the river, you can just walk straight through the enemy jungle, you start diving them on the towers. Origen needs to be as a unit and fight, but they might not get a chance outside of this push on the mid lane.
Yeah, Ryu split pushing in that bot lane is very reminiscent of Xiao Spring Split 2014. Back in the day when he did that on LeBlanc, just continuously putting pressure as a mid laner in the bot lane. Just keeping people locked down and then eventually roaming to the mid lane for a flank and a pick-off. That could be the ticket for H2K to take finally 1 game in this best of 5 series.
And it looked so bad in the start. Amazing at 4 early kills, Mithy was roaming everywhere, and then suddenly it seems like Origen lost the focus maybe a little bit, and H2K got a few easy kills around the blue buff, around top side, and that's all they needed to set up this 1-3-1. Ryu managed to solo kill Peke as well. Solo kill, he had Shen. Shen was there too.
Now yet again, loulex is copy-pasting the wrong build here. Double Ruby Crystal, double Null Magic Mantle, no Sidestone though. You would expect in a 1-3-1 matchup where the lanes are so push-dependent that you could ward in between these lanes. You could get so much access to free deep vision that you can then use to make even more picks. However, loulex says, I don't need wards to really hop to, I will just upgrade my trinket. That'll be sufficient. Not sure if I quite agree.
Well, talking about sufficient, I want something that's efficient. I'd like to see the Aegis interlocker with all of the magic damage threats from OG. A lot of power. Odoamne picked up his Righteous Glory. He will have teleport shortly. And talking about the teleports, we've not seen Soaz be very impactful with those teleports yet. He does have Haunting. He does have Sorkshu. So AP is continuing to stack, continuing to build up. And Soaz's equalizers could be game-changing if H2K have a group.
And the way these builds are shaping out to be, I don't see any other direction these support jungler combos are going on the side of H2K than a double Aegis, which means we will likely see 1 Banner of Command, probably on the Shen, which will make that 1-3-1 even more volatile. You know, adding another minion in there that's magic immune against the composition, as you just mentioned, from Origen that has magic damage on all 5 sources. Kog'Maw has physical damage, but a great part of his poke initially is magic damage, so very, very efficient Aegis will be picked up.
And Hjarnan is going to have one of those fun AD carry games where your team is like, can you just wave clear mid?
Yeah.
Don't move, just sit mid.
PvE, League of Legends.
Just clear the waves over and over. And then once we've pushed our side lanes, we're going to move into the mid lane and babysit you and kill whoever's standing there looking scary in front of you. And then you can take the tower. That is the role of the AD carry in a 1-3-1 setup. It's not always too exciting, but if you have good side lanes, it can work wonders.
And a fed Ryu and a fed Odoamne is exactly what H2K need. Is it Providence that they have 3 kills and they are down the potential 3-0? They need to win this 3rd game if they want to keep their hopes alive to make it to playoffs.
No hourglass yet for Soaz. Look for Ryu to just try and dive in with the Shen TP. They can go for that one so easy. They're going in.
Chum the Waters doesn't connect. It will buy the tower though.
However, what is missing here for H2K is that tier 1 tower. It's still at 95% HP. Stellar job from Origen keeping that one alive, because if that falls, that opens up the map so much more. Here, H2K are already getting tier 2 towers across the board before that mid lane is actually sees open. Odoamne though, going in with Shen piggyback.
Well, if an H2K tree falls in the woods, does an Origen fan scream hooray? No, because the tree stays alive. We do see a back away there as Amazing is coming from the jungle. Soaz teleports in, he's holding on to Equalizer. Too far back, H2K may not be able to defend. Ryu is pushing down in the bottom lane though, as the tower needs a few more hits. It is secured.
So a very big wave Origen took down towards this tower here. H2K reacting way too late with enough members. loulex was kind of stuck between mid and bot lane. Ryu doesn't really need your assistance when you have a Shen ulti. Instead, Origen.
Flash Cocoon goes between the uprights. Odoamne screams, you will not block this one. And he flashes defensively.
This play costs Origen a lot of time though. If they can be zoned out here long enough, this could open up a potential siege in the mid lane. But Ryu can't keep xPeke down because he based actually. So xPeke should be able to arrive in the mid lane long enough to keep that tier 1 tower alive. And that's really what Origen want to keep doing for as long as they can. Because otherwise this split push will be a lot more lethal.
For H2K, they still maintain an even game. We're 23 minutes in, and the split push is playing in their favor. Odoamne now has teleport advantage, lacking flash, and Dragon is up in a minute. Origen had decent vision in the bottom half of the jungle a few minutes ago, but it has since timed out. And we'll need to see who's going to challenge for the next objective.
I want to see where they send Ryu as well. Does H2K care about a Dragon coming up? Because then they would keep him on the bottom side to apply pressure. Or do you go for that next tier 2 tower and the Baron control, which is what H2K can start playing around. Ryu is the man to watch. He's going top now, so I think this is the smartest, because 1-2 picks and you can easily rotate into Baron very early on.
loulex, in the meanwhile, adding to his mineral collection. Third Ruby Crystal. Should we call them minerals? Coming in. I wonder where he's going with this. Really likes his HP. I would like him to just see. I mean, 400 gold. One of those rubies should have been a side stone. So much value and vision right now, more so than items. If you run a pick composition, it's all about finding that favorable engage, to finding that one window where you kick somebody forward. It's not about tanking 180 more damage overall, in my opinion. So definitely weird to see him take that approach.
Oh, Ryu needs to be a little bit careful. You don't really E in that aggressive.
Let's get caught by the cocoon. Niels needs to be way more careful. Odoamne is going to jump him. Get the knock-up. Here comes the support from H2K.
That's flash. He's waiting for the fish animation to come out.
Oh, late fish actually going to get caught by the cow. Odoamne is now still in the front line. Ryu's low on mana. Let's see how many spells he can still get off. Peke and Amazing hanging out in the tri-bush. Niels gets out, but it costs both his summoners.
Soaz had to roam from the top lane all the way down. He had no TP, but loulex had to go from the base as well. So 2 guys were missing, and instead the ulti gone from Ryu removes a lot of his flanking potential when it comes to one-shotting one of these carries. Remember, he gets that extra damage buff. It is so important to connect the ulti when it comes to one-shotting targets as the AP Fizz. That one being down means also the Origen can now get a bit of control around the Dragon. We might just see HK say, you know what, peace out, we're not going to even contest.
And obviously, split push compositions are traditionally weaker in team fights. That's why they're kind of giving up.
Though. Amazing down to 50%. Mithy.
Focus working out.
They can fight this one with your H2K. They got Shen ulti in base now.
loulex is finally flanking with the Shen on top of that. That could have finally be the opening they're looking for in all these games. Fish is about to come up for Ryu as well. Slowly posturing out. Origen have to have this figured out though. They have to proceed with caution.
Origen done a very good job setting up side lanes though to push down. So H2K have to start the Dragon and then back away. They won't really be able to get anything. Peke is here though with ulti. They're setting up, trying to catch someone. Charm missing. Amazing on the way back. Poor Dragon just stuck in the middle.
Equalizer's still available here for Soaz. The Dragon's finally been committed and focused. Here comes Origen. Unbreakable wheels out.
Peke's down.
They get the Dragon with Peke down. Can Origen still survive? Niels is low mobility. He's no mobility because he's in a grave. Amazing's fed. He's got another kill. He's gone golden. That's Soaz rather. Soaz is down. 1 for 4. It's not done yet. Triple kill for Hjarnan. He gets cocooned. Ryu gets the ace. H2K are fighting.
What a fantastic fight here by H2K, mainly because they caught xPeke going in. They saw the fish in a barrel in the Dragon Pit, but then they got caught. Twisted Advance came forward. Mithy couldn't connect his stun, and somehow H2K, with a split push composition, win that team fight, mainly due to a bit of too greedy of an engage. Orange should have waited. Stuck into the guns. Let's watch that again.
Yeah, look at again. Mithy going in at first, popping his ult, but Peke is following him, walking straight into H2K. Didn't do anything. That takes him down. Now there's no damage left because Niels drops as the second one. Beautiful from H2K and poor positioning from Origen.
3-man kick from loulex. 2-man taunt at least from KaSing following up. So finally the synergy that was lacking game 1, game 2, the engages that were going poorly are finally working in H2K's favor. In addition to that, they pick up some of these big waves on the side lanes. Comfortably right now. Suddenly 3,400 gold ahead.
Also Baron buff on a 1-3-1 team composition, and KaSing got enough gold to complete his banner of command against all of the magic damage from Origen. H2K have done great at earning this lead. Now they need to demonstrate they can push the lanes to close the game out.
Now we talked about a lack of wave clear on Origen's side, or on H2K side, but there is a lot of harder wave clear on Origen now that these minions have been buffed. With the Baron buff, obviously take a lot less AoE magic damage, especially the Banner of Command minion is immune to magic damage, so we might finally see some towers going down. 1 remaining in the top lane, 2 remaining in the mid lane, so this could be another big gold spike on the back of that Baron for H2K.
H2K will secure the outer turret uncontested. continuing to grow the lead. We did see... Wow, that's a flash forward! Odoamne's caught Peke! Amazing! Tries to get the Venomous Bite, but it's Hjarnan, that's 505! Inner turret is being focused, Equalizer just for wave clear. Those minions lost for such a long time. Few more hits on the tower. Hjarnan's taken a lot of damage, he's backed away.
Big fan of Odoamne and this Moakai here when it comes to engaging onto Peke on this Ahri. They're forcing Origen into team fights now, and they have so much pick potential because they got so far ahead from that last fight in the Baron. And lock down Peke every single time. He's building, obviously, the death cap is full squishy.
The fish has found Niels! There's the Stand United from Mithy! Niels is out! The cocoon connects onto Ryu, but the damage is already done. H2K had their backs against the wall. They were down 0-2, and now they are breaking Origen's base wide open. Inhibitor follows the fight.
7-0-5 on Hjarnan. What a stellar performance. What he couldn't do in the first game and even in the second game, he finally managed to deliver and show why he's still one of the best carries in Europe in that AD carry position. Completely outclassing Niels right now, who's still waiting to scale. Amazing drops.
His team is doing such a good job though, just setting up Hjarnan for the damage and the kills basically. They're locking down targets, they burst them, he just pops in, fires a few times, gets the kill for himself. He's been there, you know, this backbone, the wave clear sitting in mid lane, and now he's just getting all the kills in the fights.
With one Baron buff, H2K have already secured 2 inhibitors. It's about to time out, and there's a big minion wave pushing up to the top tower. They elect to not push it in and maintain this fantastic gold lead at the 30-minute mark.
Even though we're running a very distinct 1-3-1 composition, we expect a lot of small skirmishes, which usually reduces kill participation across the board. There's some pretty high kill participation numbers across the board here for H2K. Odoamne involved in 13 out of 17 kills, for example. Hjarnan, 13 out of 17 kills. So they're still managing to find a way to group efficiently after split pushing these waves. That might be the ticket to fight Origen in the next few games.
This game, their Ahri pick for Peke has really been punished by H2K. He had to blind pick it in this one here. Ryu responded with the Fizz, got the solo kill against him, and then at the same solo kill, I keep saying that KaSing was there too. The 2v1 kill against him.
Supports don't matter, or what, Deficio?
The support shield really mattered. And then in these fights now, he's not able to find an opening because it's H2K who flash engages with this Moakai and just locks him down.
Despite the standard lane, Soaz on this Rumble has not had the greatest of impact. He's actually 5-0 coming into this game. If H2K closes it out, it'll be the first loss of summer on Rumble for Soaz.
And this was the last pick of this pick and ban phase. Complete counter pick with full information, and Origen could not find a way to make that Rumble pick deliver. You see, not only due to Soaz, just teleport plays, team plays, way to set up the map. Even though Amazing had a fantastic snowball early, he was 4-0 and 1 at one point, I believe. He's now died 5 times, so aggression has been thwarted by H2K.
And that was really the weird thing. Origen had such a strong start. It looked like they were just going to start snowballing out of control, make sure the 1-3-1 would never happen from H2K, and then we just see all these random kills in the jungles where H2K look for them, look for the aggressive play, and it paid off.
Almost Unicorns of Love style, where you bring them down to the chaos and then you beat them by experience. It was a different approach by H2K, and it was needed. If they took the same approach they did game 1 and 2, it wasn't going to work.
Banner command minion.
It's in melee range though. Probably easier to kill that way.
Yeah, does go down, but they get 50% of the turret HP. Ryu has been shoving in that middle lane as best as he can to pull the attention of Origen. And with Soaz peeling away from the tower, Odoamne is going to tank up for a few more hits. H2K playing this by the numbers. They want another tower, another inhibitor, and then they will go for the Nexus.
So easy for H2K though, just to decide where do we want to go. Well, of course, the only tower left with super minions, doing all the work for us, and then Ryu sitting next to these super minions, just being annoying, stopping anyone for Origen to move down and wave clear them before they hit the Nexus turret. Engage from Mithy.
Defense, let's see if it'll work. Hjarnan's managed to get away. Soaz will use the Hourglass to avoid Chum the Waters. Ryu finds another one as Niels is focused down. He does take Odoamne with him, but it will not be enough. Peke, defensive Spirit Rush. H2K, they will be picking up the game. They will get themselves a triple kill, and despite Soaz running away, he will be unable to defend the base. H2K take the Nexus turret 1, will be taking Nexus turret number 2, and they will be pushing us to game number 4. Eventually. As a reminder, the number 3 seed in the European LCS playoffs has never beaten the #2 seed.
And Rio was absolutely ecstatic about that win.
H2K
Rio faced no space.
and Prolly, they have one more chance, one more opportunity.
You quoting Eminem here, Trevor?
I'm not, I'm simply stating facts, Krepo.
Well, they still need 2 opportunities if they want to win this best-of-5 series. They're now 1 game to 2 for Origen. Origen, they still have the room to adapt here. They obviously see a different style from H2K, different picks coming out. I feel like the Fizz pick was definitely the crux of this composition. Odoamne did well. Hjarnan eventually got to carry with a wave clear AD carry, but that could have been any AD carry almost. I really think the Fizz pick from Ryu and allowing xPeke to be counterpicked by prioritizing his pick in the draft early, I think was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Because Soaz did not deliver with that 5th pick Rumble.
I think that's what Origen will change up in this one. He's saying, okay, now we have seen Ryu have a few pocket picks. We cannot just blind pick an Ahri anymore for Peke and say that's going to be fine lane, no problem at all, because we haven't seen too much happening in that mid lane in the early stages, but the Fizz pick allows Ryu to be more aggressive, so I really like that adaptation. And we mentioned it, how this composition, if it starts to get going from H2K in terms of what they can in 1-3-1, also, but how they can engage team fights, so strong. Ryu looked fantastic on the Fizz.
He really did. 5-1-8, leading from the front is the only place you can lead from. We're going to head to the analyst desk to take a look at how H2K fought